down, guys!
What's down? Have you ever poured your heart and soul into a video, only for it to achieve below the average? I know I have. Despite that minor annoyance, I'm quite pleased with how the video came out. So I've decided, at least for the time being, I'll focus primarily on obscure games, unless I get a request to do something else, or at least until, I run out of obscure games to talk about. Which means, yes, we will be talking about it. Alright, so Shrek wasn't a very enjoyable movie. It's the only installment I would consider bad. Shrek 1 and 2 are peak fiction, and Shrek Forever After, I mean, it's alright. But Shrek the Third, in general, is pretty awful, and I'm not full of awe, but I am full of it. That pun doesn't work. The movie just kind of felt there, as if it had some obligation to be made. Oh wait, it did. We need money. However, you might know that movies tend to have tie-in games, most of which are pretty bare bones and rushed. Shrek is a weird exception, containing some fire games, and Shrek the Third is no exception. Sure, the console port is pretty well made, but you most likely already know that. Nathaniel Bendy himself talks about it in his Shrek video. Oh sweet, so if he talked about the console port, then surely he talked about the DS port. Let's see what he said.
Nope.
What? That's it? Just no? Well then that's just no! So I'll be taking a good look at the DS port in this video. There are actually a lot of unique concepts to unravel in this game. Hey, stop right there. Who the profanity are you? Name is Raketon. Raketon? Because you're holding a rake? No, that's just a coincidence I have this rake with me. Nah, I don't buy it. Why would you name someone after something? Well, why are you named SG-12? Well, because... Dang, he's got a point. Look, I've been promised some Oreos if I were to take you out. Oreos? Do I get some Oreos? No. Then why are we here? Not sure why you're here, but I sure do know why I'm here. And don't worry, this will be quick. But if you do feel pain, be sure to call our 24-hour prevention hotline for all your pain-related questions. Oh shoot. I just realized I forgot to mow my pool, so... See ya. Hey, get back here. I know that's a lie. Because we all know lawnmowers can't swim.
Get away from me! Why are you chasing me?
Where the heck did Moist Critical come from? Facebook? Ooh, I think I lost him. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, Shrek for the DS. So, Shrek the Third for the DS is primarily a game that uses the touchscreen, which made replaying it not so fun. My touchscreen is messed up, man. The right side is fine, but the left side makes it to where it thinks my touch was more to the left. This is so hard to explain in words. So if I screw up any parts of the game because of my touchscreen, I won't count it as the game's fault. The game starts us off by making us flip the DS on its side to use it as a book. Now, it's not an original concept by any means, but I still appreciate that they put in the effort to do this. You just know that when a game starts off like this, it's gonna be a good one. Now, the menu allows us to choose between single or multiplayer. Now, this game definitely works better as multiplayer since you guys get to control separate characters. Unless you're like me and the person you played with didn't want to play anymore. They don't have patience. They couldn't even play LEGO Battles. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Third Room Blade. So we're gonna go with single player. This game's story has the same events as Shrek the Third. Luckily, no Shrek babies are present.
Oh, let's go! That's class!
We start off in that one scene where the crew goes ahead and crash and burns off their ship. Fun fact. The scene where Shrek looked angry at Artie in the game always scared my younger brother for some reason. He now says this is untrue, but it definitely was. I guess angry Shrek was too much for him. So we control 3 characters in this game. Shrek, Artie, and Puss in Boots. Technically, we also control Donkey, but that's a bit hard to explain. I'll exclude him for the time being, and bring him up when it's time. Each character walks back and forth using the D-pad. Simple enough. However, all the characters have unique special abilities when you use the stylus. So let's start with Shrek himself. Shrek is the big boy character. He does the most damage if you had to choose between the 3. Tapping the screen makes Shrek do a simple jab. I don't find myself using this often as there are better moves. When sliding the stylus forward, Shrek charges forward, which does decent damage, gives Shrek a bit of a speed boost, and allows him to break through certain objects and walls. Sliding the stylus down makes Shrek do a ground pound. This stuns any nearby grounded enemies, and just like before, allows him to break certain objects, but below him. The ground pound also causes certain items to fall. Sliding the stylus upwards makes Shrek do an uppercut. This doesn't need to be done for any puzzles as it doesn't break anything special, but it does do damage to your opponents. It does around the same damage as his charge, but it can be spammed a lot easier, so it's the best option for fighting. Shrek also has the ability of being able to walk through Shrek gas. I'm pretty sure that's actually what it's called. This of course lets Shrek go to certain areas the other two may not have access to, but it also strangely heals your team. Oh yeah, I should mention this now, but the three share one health bar. This goes down if anyone takes damage by enemies or falling into pits. You can use fairies or Shrek gas to heal it. I'm pretty sure it also heals over time, but just very slowly. Next we got Arthur/Artie. Whenever I see Artie, all I can think about is,
way to go, Artie.
if you know, you know. Artie is my favorite character to use. They got so creative with just his shield, it amazes me. Sliding the stylus down makes Artie do an uppercut with his shield. This move is pretty identical to Shrek's uppercut, except maybe a little weaker. Despite this, it's still his strongest attack. Sliding a stylus in any other direction makes Artie throw his shield. The thrown shield can hit enemies that may be out of reach, and be used to hit weird floating shield icons in the air, and not sure. I remember finding it so fun to throw the shield. Sadly, my screen made it not fun to replay. Aiming the shield was torture to say the least. Tapping Artie switches how he holds the shield. He can either hold it straight ahead or above him. This is because his shield protects him and the rest from danger. Holding your shield above you protects you from falling objects. Holding your shield straight ahead protects you from enemies and projectiles that are, well, straight ahead. Lastly, Artie can use his shield to go on water, like a boat. But he can't actually move while on the water, or at least alone. I'll explain this later. Lastly, we got Puss in Boots. Puss in Boots made things unnecessarily hard. Tapping the screen makes Puss in Boots do a jab, similar to Shrek's. Sliding the stylus down, Puss in Boots does a slide move. This lets him go under certain low clearance objects, and lets him slide under enemies while doing pitiful damage. It's when you slide in the other direction that things get really painful for me. He's the only character allowed to jump, which is cool, except they make him jump using the stylus. The stylus pinpoints which direction he jumps in, so imagine trying to do parkour like this, with a broken screen. Yeah, it doesn't sound fun, does it? Oh well, it's not really the game's fault anyway. You can also wall jump, by the way. I don't know, I thought it'd be good to point out. Now the game throws us into a tutorial. It's pretty simple and does a nice job showing off all the characters' abilities. Then we start off in the first world. The forest obviously contains some pretty tame levels. I forgot to mention this, but you can actually chain characters together and make them all walk at once. I'm gonna be real, if this wasn't here, then this game would get annoying. Really quick. More annoying than having to sit through a 2-second unskippable ad. 2 15-second unskippable ads. I don't care if it's not butter. Wait, how are we supposed to raise this platform to this level? This is time to talk about the game's coolest mechanic, magic. Donkey is the fourth technical playable character, as he holds the wand. By holding down the R trigger, the screen turns purple and allows you to affect certain objects and enemies with the stylus or mic. You can raise these platforms, or even take certain enemies' weapons, or sometimes at least replace them with less harmful objects by simply tapping the enemy/object. By blowing into the mic, you can push Artie across the water, and stun any nearby airborne enemies. Side note, that last one I mentioned is useless. This is because as soon as you stop blowing into the mic, the airborne enemies are immediately no longer stunned. So unless you have an air horn, may I suggest not doing this? It's so interesting to see what you can do with magic. In fact, I'm gonna try this out myself. Let's change this game and see what happens.
You're not.
No! This world introduces some basic enemies. First, we got that one guy that throws an axe. There's many versions of this guy. This is the simplest form. All he does is throw some projectiles. Use magic to change those projectiles into candy canes, which only does knockback. And don't damage our health, rather our magic health. Something I've never even lost all of. Not much to care about there. There's these guys that wield shields. What's weird is that the attacks they can block feels very selective, like they aren't allowed to block obvious things like Puss in Boots slide. And then there's just weird stuff they can't block, like Artie's uppercut with his own shield. Guys, I think this game is favoriting shields. Using magic on him causes his shield to disappear. Temporarily, of course. Because without the shield, he can't block. Obviously. I said shield way too many times there. Then there's these tree guys that have the gimmick of blocking with bushes, preventing you from passing or attacking. Shrek can use his ground pound to stun him, allowing you for an attack. Puss in Boots can slide under, either to attack from behind, or skip him entirely. And Artie can cry. The magic causes flowers to keep the tree in place. Helpful at stopping the tree from attacking, not helpful at helping you get past the tree. Bats and birds are the most annoying enemies in this game. I just hope they die in a fire. That's all I have to say about them. Each world has the same mini-boss where a giant troll thing is present. Shrek has a ground pound to drop these rocksicles on him. After that, the troll falls over. Don't got much to say here. It's weird and pointless, and I don't know, man. It also looks pretty weird. Oh wait, that's me. Each world usually ends with a boss, but the first one doesn't, but it still has a pretty cool level. We have to move a tower across the level while avoiding falling objects and enemies. Then we use the tower as a way of parkouring. Man, this level is good. There you have it, the first world. It's a nice way to start, and Hey, I found you. Oh, brother. You really thought you could escape? Well, yeah, why else would I run? Oh. Wow. Prepare to be taken out. Hey, come on, man, this is illegal. It's not manslaughter if you're a woman. What? But I'm not a woman. And this is first-degree murder. Man, don't talk about these degrees. I never really did well in this mathematics stuff. Look, you can't take me out. Why? Because I haven't finished talking about Shrek the Third for the DS. Oh. Okay, I'll wait. What, really? Oh. Okay, then. So the next world takes place at Castlehof. I don't actually know where this is supposed to be. I haven't watched the movie in forever. And no, I'm not gonna rewatch Shrek the Third. The aesthetic of the world is pretty nice, especially when we go inside the castle. It should be mentioned that in order to progress to the next world, you need to collect all the fairies from the previous levels. It's honestly not that bad, as long as you're playing normal mode. This world introduces the magic carpet mechanic. Ugh. So just like Artie going across the ocean, we can blow these carpets up and down to get the high places. I'm not ever excited to see this as it ensures that I'll lose breath in the next few seconds, but I mean it's not that bad, it's just a little annoying. We're introduced to the flying witches. Not really, they were shown off a little earlier, but I forget. They fly above and drop Nickelodeon slime. Artie is a good counter for them, just make sure that he's holding his shield up in case the slime gets dropped. Using that same shield, we chuck it at her and take her out. You can also blow into the mic to stun her. Yep, that's certainly an option, alright. Then there's these enemies with huge spears. They do a crap ton of damage. You gotta use Shrek's ground pound to stun them, or use magic to steal the spear. Theft. The answer to everything. Next, we go to the boss of this world, a giant evil Pinocchio. My brother said he was afraid of this one. So he was afraid of both an angry Shrek and the big Pinocchio? So in other words,
it's almost like a real-life creepypasta.
This boss is hard but nicely designed. Puss in Boots has to drop these bags on top of Pinocchio so his head falls off. Once that happens, Shrek or Artie, depending on what side it fell, has to attack the head. You're gonna want to hope it falls on Shrek's side because he does a lot more damage. I just find using Puss in Boots to cut the rope annoying. Isn't that because your screen is uncalibrated? Wait, how do you know? You weren't here earlier. I don't know, you just seem like someone who has an uncalibrated screen. What? This boss is overall pretty good. Just makes me realize how stupid my touchscreen has become. Pretty stupid, let me tell you. Now we move on to my least favorite world, the Maze of Spades. This is basically underground, and I'll have you know, my favorite type of levels. This world, right off the bat, contains many more bats. I can't deal with this! There's the unnecessary addition of fire. This blocks your path, and how do you get rid of the fire? Blow into the mic. Look, I get the gimmick, blow to put out the fire. But don't you think the carpet was enough? Putting out the fire just feels like extra work. Also, for some reason, I didn't mention this before, but there are hidden lamps that give you bits of information about what's happening at far, far away. I don't know why this information is hidden. I guess we gotta search for that lore, even though you can just watch the movie. But that's not really an option. We're introduced to this new witch. She shoots projectiles straight ahead of us. The only way to take her out is to stun her using magic. I think there might be another option, which is fine, it's a nice enemy. Well, I don't really have anything else to say about this world. It's my least favorite, but you know what time it is. It's boss. We have to fight a witch. Wow, okay, cool, very original. First, this boss theme is a vibe. This boss is interesting, making us follow the witch that happens to be switching between rooms. Shrek has to drop rocksicles on her. Artie has to throw his shield at her while going across water. And Puss in Boots, well, Puss in Boots needs to do parkour. Wow, who would have guessed? Guess they're not really striving for originality. I'm sick of using Puss in Boots to do parkour. Isn't that because your screen isn't calibrated, so it's kinda your fault? Hey, who said you could keep talking? Is this your video? No, this is my video. My video, bit. That was a bummer of a world. Luckily, it's followed up by my favorite world. It's also the last world. Yeah, I know it's that quick. I feel like the devs just ran out of time, which is probably why the rest of the levels are just the same as we just played, but, you know, on hard mode. But man, what a world to end off on. First of all, I love the theme of this world. It's all pirate-centric. I love the parts where we're on a ship. It's just chef's kiss. There are other ships in the distance that shoot cannonballs that land from above us. You could potentially cheese this mechanic by using Artie's shield, but it's still better than what the other worlds added, which were just blowing into the mic. All your standard enemies have turned into pirates. There's this one that swings a sword like crazy. You can take away his sword, but when you do that, he actively tries to avoid you. Jeez, when did these enemies become smart? There's this new version of the projectile enemy that throws bombs. Using magic on him turns those bombs into pumpkins. And that's it. I know it isn't much, but I swear it's the best world. Just the theme carries here. Also, the music kinda hits hard for some reason. Now we gotta fight the final boss. This boss is very underwhelming. Like, it surely exists, alright. You have to shoot the other ship using cannons. Artie controls the cannon and Puss in Boots protects the ship from any enemies who may get on the ship. Shrek does nothing but get hurt. Yeah. You think Shrek should be playable in the last level of his own game, but no. Honestly, skill issue. You use the D-pad to aim the shots and then it just kinda ends. I'll admit the cutscene you get is more than worth it. They gave Donkey so many lines in this game, it's amazing. Oh, cool. Now prepare the... Whoa, hold up. I still need to talk about hard mode. Yeah, if you collected all the Shrek coins alongside the fairies, you are granted the ability to play levels again, but on hard mode. There's no footage of anyone 100%ing hard mode in this game, so I did it, so you don't have to. And boy, do I never want to play this game again! I know it's hard mode, but the levels are unnecessarily hard, especially when you try to get all the fairies and Shrek coins. And what do you get for 100%ing the hard mode? A few buffs for your character's damage and health. That's it. I went through all the effort of collecting all the fairies and coins on hard mode, and all I get is admins? I was hoping for an extra final level, maybe where we face Prince Charming. That would be pretty cool, but no. Word of advice, if you're gonna play this game, just play through the normal levels. Ignore hard mode and the Shrek coins. They're not worth your time. Anyway, that's all I have to say about the game. Really? Sweet. I'm prepared to die. Aw, shucks. I'm gonna cut through you just like Thomas Jefferson cut down the cherry tree. Thomas Jefferson? Are you always this dumb? Huh? Oh, am I being dumb? Sorry, I'm trying not to be. Oh? You see, I've never been much of a people guy. I was homeschooled all my life, on a farm. My dad tried to do his best to educate me. He even gave me this rake, but he would sadly end up leaving, and I had no one to learn from. I'm trying my best to learn. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I can relate, man. You're just trying to get used to things. You're looked at as stupid because you're not familiar yet. Yeah, that's right. You know what? I'm not gonna kill you. Yeah, man, I appreciate that. Let's be friends. I can even teach you. Thanks. I'd appreciate that too. But, I gotta go, so, catch you later. See you soon. But I gotta go to my room. It feels weird not finishing the video there. Alright. Okay. So that's Shrek the Third for the DS, a pretty hard game to make a video on, and I'm not saying that because I was actively trying to be killed, but because my touchscreen isn't well. I'm hoping I could fix this issue for later videos, but there might be a low chance. Although, there may be other Shrek the Third related games to play and make videos on. Honestly, I'd rather get punched by a rake.